trenches. That's a big change. Changes in sea level and extinctions of dinosaurs and other animals, most notably on land. So mammals and dinosaurs, both. So these things were going on, and the extent to which these reflected global conditions or maybe only reflect local conditions in the areas where the fossil record is most complete, that's debated. But we think that there is sufficient evidence that climate deterioration, climate change was underway, and that this really was just the final tipping point, if you like.
If you have a question that you want to ask Paul Rennie about this contemporaneous event 66 million years ago, give us a call. Our number is 800-989-8255, 1-800-989-TALK. So what is the need to refine this? Is there really, is there still such a big debate about the relationship between the Chicxulub crater that this asteroid or comet caused and the dinosaur demise? What drew you to this topic?
Well, I came at this topic for fairly esoteric reasons that have to do with calibrating our ability to date things in the geologic record. And in so doing, I began to appreciate that the existing data for this particular event, which is a nice sort of benchmark in the geologic record, were inadequate, really. And in fact, the existing data up until now actually indicate that the impact and the extinctions were not synchronous. They're distinct within analytical uncertainties. They would appear to be separated by about 180,000 years. That is, the extinctions appear, based on the existing radioisotope data, to have occurred 180,000 years before the impact. Then on the other hand, there is a fairly small minority, I think, but still a fairly vocal one, of scientists that believe that the impact occurred 300,000 years before the extinction. So with that level of discord in the community, it seemed appropriate to try and do a better job of dating both of these events, both the impact and the extinction, and really lay those questions to rest.
But to be clear now, your data shows which one does your data show came first?
Well, the numbers are indistinguishable.
I see.
So I would put absolutely no credence on our ability to tell which happened first. But let me see. And because they're so synchronous, I don't even really think of it that way.
I see.
I have to retrieve some distant memory cells here.
That's okay. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. The point being here that you're saying it's impossible with available technology to say whether it was before or after, and certainly not in so many hundreds of thousands of years.
Right. We just can't tell them apart.
All right. Well, let's see what our callers have to say about all this, and if I've done it properly, let's go to Daniel in Morristown, New Jersey. Daniel, are you snowed in yet?
Almost.
Okay. Well, I'm glad your phone's still working. What's your question?
Yeah, well, I know I was recently reading about the extinction of the mammoth species, and that several subspecies survived far longer than we previously thought, many tens of thousands of years longer in isolated regions. And I was wondering if there's the same thing occurred during the dinosaur extinction, if there were any regions or isolated species that managed to survive longer or vastly longer than the general population of dinosaurs.
Hi, Daniel. That's a really good question, and it sort of depends on how closely you look at the problem. Just to start off my answer, though, I would say that there is no credible evidence for any dinosaurs having survived past the level at which we can say, okay, here's where the record of the impact occurs. So it's a little layer of sediment that occurs all around the world in the oceans and in many stratigraphic sequences on land, particularly in Montana where we've done our work. So So you can put your finger on this layer, and that layer is characterized by high concentration of iridium, things like shock reports and other features that are really symptomatic of an impact. And nobody has ever found a dinosaur that was clearly or what we would call reworked from lower levels. So they've been eroded from somewhere else and transported by streams and such, and end up appearing to be above the layer and hence younger. But in all cases I'm aware of, you can show pretty easily that that's what happened. But you know, it's a really intriguing question. How synchronous was the extinction of dinosaurs? Can we ever hope, and we certainly can't do this right now, but can we ever hope to be able to pin it down to a matter of say, months? And this would be a huge breakthrough, because the ability of various animals at different trophic levels to find refuge or to survive certain types of effects is quite a bit at some point. I think that it will require methods that are fundamentally different than what we have available today. In other words, it won't be using the same kinds of equipment that we have been using, but just slightly better, more improved versions of those. It's going to require something different. And I can't conceive of what it's going to be. If I could, I'd be...
Yes, I know. It's exactly. It's like predicting the stock market. If you did that, you wouldn't be talking to me.
Sure I would.
Thank you very much for that. Let's take another call now.